All right. What's the deal, YouTube? What is the deal, YouTube? Hard hitting sports in your face. So, you see the title of the video. We are live right now. So, I'm going to wait for a few more individuals to come into the building. And then we will go over this recap. We'll do a pick by pick here. Let's see. You want to come in here? Send me your. Let's see. Send me your email to my Facebook inbox. I'll bring you in. And we'll go over the draft. We're gonna get we're gonna get this thing started in just a minute. I'm gonna bring a few more people in. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just got in from work, so I'm gonna chill out. And we'll talk some football. So you guys bear with me for a minute while I see who all wants to come in with us. I got to get my emails back. I had all my emails on my other computer, and when I moved, I fucking lost my adapter for that. And um, yeah, we're gonna get this thing started. So I don't have anybody's emails anymore. So I gotta get everybody's emails back. So anybody looking to join this, shoot me your email so I can go ahead and bring you in. And then while I'm doing that, I can go ahead and make myself another notepad with everybody's emails, and we can get this thing started. Go ahead and shoot me your email. So we can get started. Let me put my computer. Actually, let me get my phone set up here so we can go live on Facebook at the same time. Oh boy, where is my adapter? All ready?
You hear me?
I hear you.
Piece of fucking shit, dude.
Oh man, there's a lot to talk about today. Let me get this thing started on Facebook real quick. There's what's going on, man?
Yo,
Let
Yo, dude.
me see if Jay. Let me see if Jay is in for this.
What's up, Stefan?
what's up, man?
Or Stefan, sorry.
All
I'm
right.
macking down on a pizza right now, sorry. How do you want to do the intro, Isaiah? I always fuck it all up.
Hey, it doesn't matter. I just sent the message out to Jay to see if he wants to come in with us.
Overall, I'm okay with the draft. Overall,
Yeah.
I really like the fourth round running back Kevin Balaj.
All
the
right.
one that pissed the one that pissed me off was Jerome Baker from Ohio State. Man, that God,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. That.
Shaquem Griffin Sr. way better cover guy, way better instincts. Just I can't. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
All right. So, I don't know if Jay's gonna be able to come in with us. Um, everybody want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Let me think of
Um, my name is Stefan. Been a Miami Dolphins fan for I'd say almost a decade now, and I'm really optimistic about what we did in the draft.
all right.
I have to go. Give me a soda. Sorry, my daughter. Oh shit! Hi, my name's Ron. Dolphin fan for I don't know forever. I'm gonna. I live in California.
Mhm.
Born and raised. Dolphin fan for life.
All right. Um, my name is Isaiah.
Sorry.
Um, originally from Miami, Florida, but of course now I live in Atlanta. I am a Miami Dolphin fan since birth. I grew up across the pond, across Lake Lucerne, um, from the state, and I'm a Dolphin fan for life, man. I've been a Dolphin fan for I can't imagine myself being a fan of another football team. That's how I look at it, folks. I guess we could start off. Let's take a look at all of the picks of this draft. I know there's a few people that might not have seen every pick, but I mean it's fairly it's fairly easy to kind of go through the internet and see all the picks. But we'll go through all the picks here as far as everybody that we drafted. We'll look at everybody that we drafted, and then everybody will kind of give their grades as far as everybody we drafted. So, kicking off the draft for the Miami Dolphins, all of you guys who are able to see my screen right now, kicking off the draft, the Miami Dolphins at pick 11 drafted Minka Fitzpatrick, the safety from Alabama. Never in a million years did I expect him to be there for us at 11. Uh, in the second round, pick 42, the Miami Dolphins selected Mike Gesicki. I don't know if I'm saying his name right or wrong. I know I'm going to botch a few names here. So deal with it. All right, deal with it. In the third round, the Miami Dolphins selected Jerome Baker, the linebacker of Ohio State. In the fourth round, we drafted yet another tight end, which was Durham Smythe, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Miami Dolphins.
Still there?
I'm here.
Oh,
All right, can everybody hear me?
yep.
Yes.
I thought it was me that dropped out. I was like, shit.
A minute. Go over the picks, or did it drop out completely?
You just stopped at a fourth round Durham Smythe out of Notre Dame tight end.
All right, so yeah, Smythe was the tight end in the fourth round. The next pick 131. Dolphins selected Kalen Ballage, a running back from Arizona State. The next pick was pick 209. The Dolphins selected Cornell Armstrong, the DB from Southern Miss. At 227, the Dolphins selected Quentin Poling, a linebacker from Ohio. And with the 229th pick in the draft, the Miami Dolphins selected Jason. Your picks. Who wants to go first, man? Let me know what are your first impressions? What's your grade for the Miami Dolphins draft?
I'd say for the first 3 rounds of the draft, I was thinking to myself, it seems like our front office, is finally seeing the right direction of doing. In terms of Mick, I really liked him going into the draft. I really feel like he's just an insurance policy in our secondary. He can really do anything. I mean, in the event that Rashad Jones, if we need to replace Rashad Jones in the future, he can do that. He can be a star because I feel he's better than TJ.
Right.
He could be at cornerback. He can be in the slot. He can defend tight ends. It's like anything you do that's really special on our team. We don't have enough playmakers. We don't create enough turnovers. He's a guy who can really do that. Like he has skills that you can look for. Now, when it comes to him being our first round pick, I won't say safety is a out and out position of need, but at the end of the day, I would say this is a bit of a low pick. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who can really in the long run.
Right.
In regards to Mike, he's a really good pass catching tight end in
Uh-huh.
every way you could imagine,
Right.
but he is what you would call, well, some NFL experts or former NFL players would call, I'd say, soft, because he doesn't is not part of his MO in any fashion, which goes wow, we need to bring see one on this roster.
Right.
So having Mike Gesicki as our is great, but we need a blocker, and I'm pretty sure Anthony Fasano was retired when I was thinking this at the moment. So I thought we're pretty much screwed in that area. But we ended up drafting a tight end in the fourth round. Um, when it comes to tight end that we drafted, my first reaction when I saw it, what are we doing? Because we're going to draft someone on the defensive line or defense. I mean, I did not expect to draft two ends in the first round. That was what, but I mean that told me this front office prior to the draft. Jordan, um, Davin Gutschall, very confident in those guys to not draft in the draft, which really surprised me because that was not one of my expectations. I really thought we were going to draft for a line, but it didn't happen. So that's because yeah.
All right. Ron, what did you think about this draft?
Overall, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, we finally got some needs taken care of while still getting the best player available. Now, a few of the picks I disagree with, but I can see where they're coming from. Their number one goal was sideline to sideline speed, and getting Minka Fitzpatrick at 11, man, dude, that was huge.
Yeah.
I know the fans think, well, we already spent tons of money on Rashad Jones, and then we brought in TJ McDonald. But really, the defense that we're running is similar as the Patriots, and it's a three safety system with a less emphasis on linebackers. It's more on having people cover sideline to sideline, the tight ends, the wide receivers, and because a lot of teams are going with these faster and bigger slot guys. They're like a tweener between a tight end and a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to have people cover, and we struggled all last year with Nate Allen, Maurice Smith. Maurice Smith did well, but he got hurt. We just struggled trying to find that third safety that can come in, and we were strapped with linebackers that were all middle linebackers. Stephon Anthony, the first round pick of the Saints, we got him for a fifth round, but he was the middle linebacker in college. We tried to swing him at Sam, and then Chase Allen's a middle linebacker. Raekwon McMillan's a middle linebacker. We didn't have the speed and the coverage. So swinging, making in the first, that was awesome. I would have preferred Derwin James, but you're splitting hairs. Second pick, getting Gesicki. The plan for me started filling out what Gase was finally trying to do. You don't give a shit if we're blocking with the tight end. We want to stretch the center of the field force teams into nickel and dime. And then when they do that, here comes Drake and Frank Gore running down here. So Gesicki was a home run. I would have preferred Dallas Goedert, but again, like with Minka versus Derwin James, you're kind of really splitting freaking hairs. Dude's 6'6", 255, runs faster than Antonio Brown, leaps taller than who's that other guy? I forgot his name. But he's strong as one of the offensive line. The Kay Adams from Good Morning Football listed what he does best at all different spots. The guy is just explosive. And when Penn State, when it's Ohio State, the linebackers there could not cover Gesicki. They had to have we drafted Baker. They had to have him cover him and then bracket with Webb over the top. And Gesicki just still ate like a champ. So then our third pick, I wasn't really excited about Jerome Baker, even though he has the size that you're looking for, 6'1", 230. He's got the speed. At the combine, he was 4.53, 40-yard dash. So he was right there tops, but on film, he disappears. So I hated that pick. But then we went right around in round 4. I think getting Kellen Ballage is huge. He's like a taller version of Drake. He's explosive in the run with good vision, good cutting ability. He's got soft hands he can catch. And at the Senior Bowl, he answered all the questions if he was durable enough, like if he could do the inside zone power run between the tackles. He showed that he could do that. Then we went and got that Armstrong kid from that small school.
Mm-hmm.
But I researched him before doing the video. He fits our scheme even though he's only 5'11", but he flew at his pro day and he was one of the 30 visits for Dolphins. He runs a 4.43. For a short guy, he's got long arms at just under 33 inches. And on one of his game films in college, he looks like he's 6'1" on tape, even though he's only 5'10". He hits hard coming up for the run. So I think he's a unknown good player. And then that Quentin Pauling, they had him at the 30 visit and also had sent a bunch of people, including Burks, to his pro day, Ohio. He's basically Chase Allen with more speed.
Okay. I really think we might just have like a Devontae Freeman, Tevin thing going on here with the running backs. With the running backs we have, hopefully that's what they can become.
That linebacker that we picked, 6'0", 235 pounds, but I don't have anything as far as what he ran.
His Ohio Pro Day, he ran 4.54.
Okay.
And he has a 37-inch vertical leap.
Right.
And he did like an 11.1 broad the broad jump. He's explosive in short range.
All right. Hey, what's going on, Jay?
What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm all right. Hey,
how you guys doing, fellas?
Good.
Okay, but do you guys hear me clear? Is I'm good on my end?
Yes.
I hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start off with I'm gonna go good and the bad. I'm gonna start off with the bad. I'm gonna give you guys the bad news. The Minka Fitzpatrick pick I liked it. I didn't feel like it was a need. And what made me mad about that pick, we paid TJ McDonald, Isaiah Ronald, and we paid TJ McDonald before he even got on the field. And you know what upsets me about that is because that kind of lets me know that the front office know they probably made a mistake with TJ McDonald and that it's not going to work. So they kind of, they went out there and they got a Mika Fitzpatrick. And like I said, I'm not upset with that pick. The tight end that we drafted, Mike what's his name? Mike
Gesicki.
Gesicki. I'm not upset about that pick. I know I see some fans that's kind of upset about that pick. Why are you guys mad about that pick? Why would Miami Dolphins fans be mad that the Miami Dolphins finally got a tight end? Listen, there's no need for you to go out there and keep buying used cars and to keep breaking down on your ass. Go to the car lot and get you a brand new car. Stop going out there getting these used cars and they break down on your ass and now you stuck. We got us a young tight end that we've been needing for a long time, so I'm not mad at that. Now, what concerns me is he can't block. I mean, watching film on this guy, he's absolutely pathetic. He's horrendous. And what concerns me, we got a quarterback that have suffered 2 knee injuries. Well, 1 knee injury. He's been out for 2 years, and it concerns me because I don't need him missing blocking. He injured our quarterback. And the running back, I love the running back. And it's, to me, overall, it's a pretty good draft. Now I'm gonna get to the elephant in the room. The Miami Dolphins did not draft the quarterback. And watching these young quarterbacks getting picked, Isaiah and Ronald. Yep. I remember as a young boy, I would go to the store, right? And me and my mom will be in the store, and I see something that the other kids would get. And I would say, Mom, I want one of those. And my mom would say, we got one at home. You don't need that. You got it at home. That's how I felt watching these quarterbacks go, watching the Sam Darnolds and these other quarterbacks go. I felt like the Miami Dolphins was passing because they felt like they got a quarterback at home. And I'm not sold on Ryan Tannehill. I felt like we should have got a young quarterback, but we didn't. And so what's done is done. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good draft. I see some people saying that it's one of the best drafts. Listen, I'm not going to go that over and beyond this, and I'm not going to say all that, but it's a pretty decent draft. But the other tight end, one more thing. The reason why I'm concerned about the tight ends, because other teams going to know that he can't block, just like we as fans know that he can't block.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it a little predictable because when the other tight end comes in, it's a little predictable. They know that we're going to be running the ball. They know when we're going to be passing. So we need his ass how to block because we need him to protect our quarterback that everybody's believing in now. So we need him to learn how to block. That's the only thing that concerns me. Our offense, when he comes in the game, is going to be predictable.
And here's the second. During the season,
your mic.
So
your
it's
mic
really important.
Mm-hmm.
Mic is off?
Yeah, your mic is going in and out.
Okay. So it's really important that he focuses on his ability to pass and run block this off season going into his first year. Because during the regular season, he's not going to be able to practice and really be able to learn the technique of being a better blocker. He can't just push it off to the side because the coaches just say, it's who you are and be a receiving tight end. No, he has to improve now for sooner rather than later.
All right, so from the top of the draft, with the first pick, I felt like we hit a home run with Minka Fitzpatrick, simply because I felt like when it came to tight ends last year, we did not have a good matchup. If you remember how many times Kiko Alonso got burnt by Cook or just
Oh my
any.
God.
Oh my God, we played the Raiders. It was maximum exposure with Kiko Alonso getting roasted. So I felt like we needed a good matchup, and I didn't feel like TJ McDonald was that guy. And I was hearing that a lot of the blown coverages was on the part of TJ McDonald in the secondary. So I think getting Mika Fitzpatrick back there shores it up. You put him along with Jones, and you got two guys that are probably going to be Pro Bowl back into this defense. Um, Mike Gesicki was one of the tight ends that I was hoping for. We got I either wanted Gesicki or Goddard, and we ended up getting Gesicki, big tight end, big 6'5" tight end running a 4.5 40. You put him out there working the middle of the field to go along with the rest of the weapons we have, whether it's Stills, Parker, Wilson, Drake coming out of the backfield, and it's matchup problems. Like Ronald was saying earlier, this is gonna force teams to play nickel against our offense, and then you come out in that set and you run draw plays with Drake out of the back. That's gonna be a pain, and that's gonna be a pain in the ass to try to stop. I just hope we don't come out here and throw 60,000 bubble screens next year. We actually try to attack down the field. The next pick, Jerome Baker, I was absolutely pissed. And the reason why I was pissed is because Shaquem Griffin was still on the board, and I just felt like he was. I felt like he was a better player for us. I mean, the size, that 4.38 speed, we can move him around, put him in a lot of different places. I felt like he was a better pick, and I hope we don't end up in the same situation with Raekwon McMillan and Cunningham that we had last year, where we ended up taking the wrong guy, and the other guy ends up going out there and absolutely playing big time football, and then we're sitting there next year with all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. That's all I'm going to say about that. I do find it kind of funny that I saw Miami Dolphin fans asking for Roquan Smith, but they were mad at Jerome Baker when both of them kind of have the same weakness. Neither one of those guys is able to get off block. They're both small linebackers, but we got Jerome. We got Jerome Baker in the third round. That's a good value. When you wanted us to get a guy with similar issues in the first round. That made no sense. So I think it's kind of I see like man, he's a small linebacker. Dude, you was just talking about getting a small linebacker the other day. What you talking about? But anyway, then we get Durham Smith. I know nothing about him at all. I haven't had an opportunity to look up anything about him. I'll probably make a video later talking about him. Kalen Ballage, I was actually riding home and I looked up his stats. And just to go over a little bit of numbers on this guy, he is a big freaking running back. He's about 6'3". He weighs 228 pounds. And in his 40, he ran a 4.46 40, right? Then you look at his stats. The year before this year, the guy caught 44 passes for Arizona State. He ran for, if I'm not mistaken, 14 touchdowns or something like that. Now,
Yes.
the weaknesses that they have listed in his scouting, they concern me a little bit. These are the things that they say he's weak at. He doesn't have the hips or feet to cut with sharpness after throwing hard to the edge. He runs too upright. He plays with early indecisiveness, which means he might be one of those guys that like to dance and toes. He takes too many skip steps in his approach downhill, allowing defenses to fight past the blocks. And if he does that shit for us with the way that we have made improvements. So I'm not going to say that. His field vision is severely lacking. He allows open run lanes to go unused. That's some Trent Richardson type shit where he would run into the back of his own offensive lineman. His feet can get confused when faced with unexpected traffic. I don't want this guy going out there doing the Bambi for us and tripping over himself. He's athletic but not elusive. He's not nearly as hard to tackle as expected. That's a big one for me because he's a big running back at 6'3", almost 230 pounds, but he better not be easy to bring down. He better not be Puff the Marshmallow Man. Like that doesn't make any sense. But we will see. We will see exactly what we got in him. Cornell Armstrong, I haven't had an opportunity to research him honestly. It's the same thing with Quentin Coleman. I just found it interesting that we traded this guy for a 4th round pick, right? And then we turn around and we get another big running back. But this one, from all the scouting reports now, I haven't watched video on him. This one is actually easier to bring down than the Jay Ajayi. Like that's just the one thing that I found kind of interesting. But he did catch 44 passes, so that does kind of vindicate what a lot of people were saying, the fact that that they had problems with Jay Ajayi catching the ball. My draft grade as of right now, without knowing a lot about 3 picks, I give it a solid A minus. I don't like the fact that we didn't get a quarterback, but I tell you right now, if Ryan Tannehill comes out and he gets hurt and we end up with Brock Osweiler, the entire front office should get fired.
And you know, Isaiah, with you saying that, you know what bothers me about that is that if our entire front office get fired, right, our head coach, you can't keep Ryan Tannehill around because you can't fire Adam Gase and keep Ryan Tannehill. So
Right.
now with not taking a quarterback, your head coach going to be gone. Your GM going to be gone. You got a bunch of young, unproven talent. You're not going to have a franchise quarterback. It's like we're going to be starting all back over. If we would have drafted a quarterback, at least if our coach would have got fired, we still got a quarterback. We still got a quarterback. If Adam Gase believes in Ryan Tannehill, and listen, maybe he sees something that we don't see. And listen, the guy did get Adam Gase to the playoffs his rookie year as a head coach. So, you know, he's excited about Ryan Tannehill. But my only thing is, if Ryan Tannehill doesn't get the job done and Adam Gase get fired and Mike Tannenbaum get fired and the whole front office get fired and our quarterback, because we're going to have to move on from Ryan Tannehill. I mean, you got a bunch of unproven guys now.
Yep.
Now you're talking about you don't have a head coach. You don't have a franchise quarterback. Now you're probably going to try to do something stupid next year to try to move up to get a franchise quarterback when you could have got a quarterback this year. And if Ryan Tannehill didn't work out, I mean, we could let everybody go, but at least we still have a young quarterback in the waiting that we can put a good offensive-minded coach with him. That's the only thing that kind of confused me.
Yep.
I mean, goddamn, if you're gonna leave me, if we're gonna break up, don't take everything. Don't leave me with nothing. Don't leave me with nothing.
Yep.
My take on the quarterback spot is this. I think they're figuring there was some excuses that could have been made for Ryan Tannehill. The big one is, you hear it all the time, it drives me nuts, is, well, he doesn't have an offensive line. Enter Josh Sitton at left guard. Enter Pouncey's replacement through a trade with the 49ers, Kilgore.
Mm-hmm.
So in Gase's mind, there's no more excuse for the offensive line. Sitton is a good run and pass blocker, and Kilgore is good against the run, and he's good against the pass. Next excuse was, well, he never had a tight end. Well, we just not just brought him one, we gave him two. Durham Smythe at Notre Dame was underused. He was literally the sixth offensive lineman for Notre Dame to run their power run sweeps. At the Senior Bowl, he had soft hands like Fumagalli from Wisconsin and Gasecki. He was out there running routes, and everyone was shocked about how crisp his routes were and how good his hands were. So we got not just one, we got two tight ends. And I could see us running a lot of 11 personnel, and I can see number 11 standing next to Osweiler with the headset on the sidelines while Wilson, Stills, Grant, Gasecki are out there tearing shit up. With Smythe as the swing guy, him and Gray can block. And we even used Gray last year as a big fullback, short yardage guy with Drake. And then so the quarterback situation is even if Ryan Tannehill goes down, we will see the Brock Osweiler show or the David Fells show. And it looking like right now that they didn't even get Riley was that Riley Ferguson? They were pursuing him in the undrafted, and it looked like he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, you signed with Tampa?
Yeah, I was on Twitter looking at it while you guys were talking.
Rono,
I think what happens. What I think is going to happen is, say worst case scenario, we go in the season. Ryan Tannehill's a starter. We're playing Tennessee. His knee goes out. Brock has to come in, and we go 4-10, whatever. We only get 4 or 5 wins. We're sitting in the top of the draft. I think Gase is safe. For
no way.
Fired. I think Tannenbaum is the ass man out because this draft was the Gase Greer show, not the Tannenbaum show. They even joked about it a while ago at the end of the final of the draft, where Chris Greer kind of ribbed Mike Tannenbaum a little bit that we had to quote unquote keep Mike under control with his trades and stuff. So I think they'll be safe, and then we'll sit, and then they'll draft the quarterback because I think the one that they like is Drew Lock from Missouri that went back to slave ball, and I think they also like that Mackenzie Milton from UCF, and they also think they like that Will Greer from West Virginia or whatever. So they'll just get their quarterback next year, but this draft was all about getting rid of the excuses. Get speed on defense, get speed on the offense, get some tight ends that can catch and block, go young, go cheap, and if Ryan Tannehill don't make it, then he's out.
Guys, what I thought was if we don't take a quarterback now, then how will we set ourselves up in the future to get a quarterback? Because we had the 11th pick. I mean, the margin between the first and the 11th pick wasn't that big in this draft, and Josh Allen, Josh Rosen were still around the 7th and 8th and 9th picks. And I assumed that if one of those guys fell to us, we would have taken them. But the way I guess our front office views it is that we'll just take the best player on the board and move on no matter what position it is. And I really wasn't too how do you say, eager to go after the quarterback, but if the I wouldn't have us taking him. Um, but the way our roster looks, I was thinking to myself, quarterback now, rather than being a average football team in the future going forward, having a 8-8, 9-7 record, not being able to make the playoffs, but our front office, like, in order for us to reach the next level, we need to draft a quarterback that has more upside than the quarterback we do have now. And if we're getting an 8-8, 9-7 average record, not making the playoffs, then that means we're gonna have to give up more assets just to draft a quarterback. We're gonna start having to give up first round picks, second round picks, third round picks, just to trade up to go get a quarterback when we could have taken one this year. Just so I feel like not taking a quarterback this year, when you really look at it, is kind of counterproductive. Because the way this front office looks at it, they're trying to win. But obviously, as we can all see, all four of us, this roster is a bubble playoff team at best. And in my opinion, we're playoffs. So why not take a young quarterback, invest in them, more upside than the quarterback we have now, and
You breaking up,
run the
Stefan?
system well. I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up, bro.
Yeah, I'm broken. I'm breaking up. Okay.
Now you
Somebody
clear
else
now.
can go then.
You clear
I'm
now.
clear now. Okay. Yeah. So my opinion is just why couldn't we have just taken a shot at the quarterback now while we didn't have to give up too much assets. We probably would have cost a third round pick just to trade up. But at the end of the day, it's all about doing what it takes. But I mean, this front office is doing their thing. Um, I mean, in my honest opinion, I'd say the guys that are not gonna be. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I can really just see it. I can see the forest from the trees at this point. They're not gonna in the next 3 years. We're gonna have a front office, and I think that's just the case because I really don't know what our blueprint even is anymore. I mean, first it was about getting a bunch of guys with a dog mentality, all those kinds of things, guys like that. Well, those guys aren't working out. Xavier Howard isn't working out. I mean, he had a decent last half of the season, but he isn't working out. These guys,
Dog
these
mentality,
alpha men aren't
all
working
kinds of
out.
things, guys like that. Well, those guys. Oh man.
We still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I.
I get what you guys are saying with the quarterback,
Yeah.
but to get, like, say, Josh Rosen was sliding,
Yeah.
to get him, does he fit our actual system? I mean,
Um,
he's more of a straight line pocket passer. He'll shift a little bit, but he's not going to do no bootlegs. He's not going to move the pocket out to get rid of the pass rush, kind of like Tannehill's game. So to get Darnold, you'd have had to go up at 2 with the Giants. And the Giants wanted fucking 4 first rounders, a bunch of seconds. They wanted like treasure bigger than anybody has ever given for it. Like they were the first overall, not the second overall.
Well, my thing is, and I hear people. I understand what you're saying we were about Rosen, but you had Lamar Jackson right there. Why didn't we get Lamar Jackson? You
I
that
don't
was
understand?
know.
too high. That was too high to take him. He's not. Lamar Jackson isn't.
Well,
Wasn't
listen.
take this.
Let me say this. Ryan Tannehill, coming out of college, was a wide receiver turned quarterback. And we've been patient with him. I told my dad this. I think Ryan Tannehill we put more weapons around Ryan Tannehill, in my opinion, than we did for one of the greatest Miami Dolphin players to ever play in this game, Dan Marino. Ryan Tannehill played with three first round offensive linemen. You're talking about a guy in Ndamukong Suh I think is a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. You're talking about Rashad Jones, who's one of the best safeties in this league. You're talking about a guy in Jay Ajayi who's breaking records. You're talking about Jarvis Landry, who's breaking records. We put weapons around Ryan Tannehill. And the only thing that I say is this. We should have drafted a quarterback. And I'm not saying reach for a quarterback, but we needed security if anything was to happen. Hell, if Ryan Tannehill stays healthy the whole year and he was underachieving, I mean, look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. They drafted Mason Rudolph. You know, look at what the New York Giants did. You're talking about Super Bowl winning quarterbacks that their team went out and got a quarterback for the future for whenever they quarterback had to move on. And Ryan Tannehill hasn't accomplished nowhere near what guys like Big Ben and even Joe Flacco. You say what you want about Joe Flacco, but he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's clutch in the playoff. And the Baltimore Ravens still went out and drafted Lamar Jackson. So I'm just kind of confused about that whole not drafting the quarterback situation.
I mean, when it comes to the quote unquote talents Ryan Tannehill had around him, at the end of the day, I want a better quarterback. At the end of the day, I'm sick of these. 10 games he's good, 6 games he's bad. I want a consistent quarterback every single game. I don't want a quarterback that needs to be carried by a great offensive coordinator. I want a quarterback who can carry his football team. I don't need a quarterback who's dependent on a system. Like, I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's great to say he had all these first-round picks, but the truth is they're all overrated. Laremy Tunsil, he's not good. Devontae Parker, he's not good. And Dominican Sue, all he got was double-teamed all the time. He couldn't pass rush because he was always double-teamed. His impact was lessened. So it's great to say he has all these talents, but in truth, all these talents that he's had have been overrated. Mike Pouncey, he's even overrated. Mike Pouncey's not that. I mean, Mike Pouncey's all right. I think he's average at this point, but all these injuries he's had over his career has really lessened him. That's why he's gone now. So you can say Ryan Tannehill's had all these talents, but it's really not the case because all these players that have come in and out of our team have been overrated. And it's been proven over time. I mean,
let me say this real quick. Can you imagine if we would have got Minka Fitzpatrick in the first round, and then come the end of the first round, we would have traded back into the first round, maybe giving up a pick from next year, came back and got Jackson, and still ended up with Mark Andrews in the third round.
Yeah, he was still there when we picked Baker. Andrews went a couple of picks later to the Ravens.
That draft right there would have been
sick.
We would have been on cloud 9 right now.
That would have been bomb, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he started falling, I was wondering when we would trade up. We had the players to get a second rounder. Once we got that extra second rounder, we could have packaged something up and got back in the first.
Yeah.
When you look at what it took Baltimore to get the Eagles pick, all it costed them was a fucking second and a fifth round pick. We could have gave up one of our fourths and one of our sevenths and maybe a pick next year and got that 31 pick from the Eagles.
There it is. And we would have been
we got Fitzpatrick and Lamar Jackson.
That's
still kept our second round pick and got Gesicki. Now we're fucking cooking with grease, dude.
Yes.
Isaiah, Ronald, and Stephen, let me ask you guys a question. How much do you think that Adam Gates had to do with not drafting the quarterback? Because we know, I feel like Adam Gates, that first year of Adam Gates and him working with Ryan Tannehill, they was looking at him like as the next big coach. You understand? Because he was that coach that turned around Ryan Tannehill. And then I think he got kind of brought back down to earth when he went out there and he signed Jay Cutler. You had some people that kind of questioned Adam Gates. And to me, Adam Gates is a very cocky coach. He's very cocky. Do you feel like he was like, okay, well, listen, I want to show people that I am that guy. We don't need no another quarterback. Do you think he was kind of the one that didn't want to draft a quarterback? Or is that just me?
That was last year. That I can win with any quarterback. I'll throw Cutler out there. He knows the system and will win, and it didn't. So I think this draft was Chris Greer, double middle fingers, one in Adam Gase's face and one in Mike Tannenbaum's face, said, "This is my show. Fuck you both." That's why we didn't draft the quarterback. I honestly believe that. I think he got sick. He's the third guy in the middle listening to these two guys argue for the last 2 years. I think he said, look, you guys did okay because I drafted good. But I'm letting you guys pick some players, and I'm not picking the guys that I really want. So you guys are going to stand back. I'm going to give you a draft, and if you can't win, it's not my job.
Um,
I think because we didn't trade up and we didn't trade down, and it would have
yeah,
been real easy to toss lazy ass Parker to the fucking Eagles and gave them another wide receiver for that 31 pick without risking no draft capital, and could have got that 31 pick and got Lamar Jackson for nothing.
Yep.
But that's kind of hard to believe because when you look at the coaches that the Miami Dolphins brought in, they're still Gase guys. It's not like the organization said, okay, Adam Gase, we trusted you in 2000 and we trusted you last year. You brought in Jay Cutler. You did this. You got rid of Jay Ajayi. Listen, we gonna do it our way. I mean, they still brought in, Adam Gase guys, and I feel like this draft is kind of, when you look at on the offensive side of the ball, the tight ends that we drafted, it's more for Adam Gase system. So I kind of feel like we're still trying to cater to Adam Gates, and I don't think
We
he
are.
earned that. I don't think he earned that yet.
I like
Osweiler was Gase's hand-selected guy in Denver.
Exactly.
When we took Ryan Tannehill at number, was it 8? They took Brock at Denver the same year we got in the second. We got Tannehill in the first.
And people can say whatever they want to say. If I would have known that the Miami Dolphins would have never drafted a quarterback, hell, we should have just stuck with Matt Moore. I mean, I'd rather Matt Moore than Brock Osweiler.
No.
You would rather Brock Osweiler over Matt Moore?
No, I'd rather go David Fells over Matt Moore. And Brock Osweiler, actually.
I say,
Isaiah knows I was pounding the table last year when it was clear that neither Moore or Cutler were cutting it.
Yep.
And what fucked Moore up last year is he could say what he wanted, but when they handed the job for no competition to Jay Cutler, he was fucking pissed, and I don't blame him. I'd have been pissed too.
Exactly.
He bled in those 4 games after Ryan went down from Calais Campbell's cheap hit in the knees, and he became a fucking Miami hero going to the playoffs. But even though we got our asses kicked by Pittsburgh in the wild card round, but he thought, and the fans thought, that at least when he went down, that Moore should have had at least a shot to be the starting quarterback. And Gase wasn't having none of that. Gase handed the keys to the fucking starter to Cutler. And in my opinion, both Moore and Cutler lost a job to Fales when Fales went those last 2 preseason games and showed what Jakeem Grant could do as an outside wide receiver threat, as an X or a Z. When he went and torched the fucking corners for Vikings, to me, that was said that Cutler's no longer the starter and Fales should have been, and instead they cut his ass.
Yeah, but Ronald, Fales was playing.
And Jakeem Grant went right back to the bench, and he just sat there and never got used. And without the trade of Ajayi and the injury to both Sunrise Perry and fucking Damian Williams, we would have never seen Drake fucking blossom like we did. He was gunner on special teams and kick and punt returner.
Yep.
Period.
You're right. And that's the problem that I have. That's the problem that I'm having with the Miami Dolphins. When I know we're trusting the process, and I kind of feel like some Miami Dolphins fans have batteries in their back and they're being brainwashed a little bit, in my opinion, because when you look at them going out there signing TJ McDonald, and now they're admitting that they messed up, so they go out and they draft a safety in the first round. They draft Charles Harris last year, and then they go out and they get another defensive end in Quinn, and they paying him $9 million. I'm not understanding. $12 million after they drafted Charles Harris with the number 1 overall pick, and everybody's supposed to be excited about the whole Mika Fitzpatrick thing. Okay. I'm like, okay, we drafted another defensive player for the 2nd year in a row. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, You as a fan, you want to trust what the organization is doing. And I hear odds makers saying that we're a 4 and 5 win team next year. I don't think that we're that bad. But some of the moves that the Miami Dolphins make, it's kind of confusing. And I don't mean to say that on the draft day because they did have a decent draft.
Guys, when you really look at it, I mean, it really depends on our young players. I mean, in order for us to even be a playoff team and exceed expectations, which I don't think we'll do, but in order for us to even accomplish that, the guys that need to step up are Devontae Parker, Kenyon Drake, Laramie Tunsil, Xavier Howard, and the guys that we just recently drafted. Those are the guys that really just need to turn it around and step up. Those are our impact players that really need to make a difference because we invested a lot into those guys and we need them to play better. They're part of the reason we failed last season because Devontae Parker's always hurt. Xavier Howard is extremely inconsistent. Larry Tunsil was just bad, other than a couple of good games that he did have last season. It's really depending on the young players that we do have. And don't forget Raekwon McMillan. He still hasn't played yet. So it really depends on what our young players have in them. I think
Right,
that's what
right.
really depends.
I think the biggest keys for this season for me, the biggest keys for this season to be a success is how we run the ball. I think if we're able to run the ball and run it down teams' throats like we did in 2016 and allow Ryan Tannehill to do the thing that he does the best,
Right, right.
which is play action, we'll have a decent season. I think we have some weapons, got a lot of speed, and we're going to cause some teams some problems as long as the play calling is good and we can run the ball. The offense, I think the offense may be improved from what it was last year, and I definitely think the defense is going to take a step forward. I'm still iffy about our situation up the middle. I really want to see how it works with Phillips and Godchild up the middle because we didn't address that at all either. So we'll have to see how that works. But I think the defense will be improved, especially the secondary.
There were games last year where I said that I remember when Jay Ajayi was here, and I don't remember me telling you. I don't know if you remember me telling you this, Isaiah. I say even if Jay Ajayi don't rush for over 100 yards, keep feeding that man the ball. Keep
Yes.
feeding him the ball. Keep feeding him the ball. And I feel like that with I don't know about that with Drake, but we got a guy in Frank Gore. You understand what I'm saying? And Frank Gore, he's a great player. He's a hometown guy, but he's a rental. And what do you do when you in a rental car? You don't treat a rental car like it's your own because you know you're not going to have it long. Keep feeding Frank Gore the ball. Take the ball out of Ryan Tannehill hands, like you said, Isaiah. Use Ryan Tannehill with the play action pass, and I think we'll be okay. Now
Yep.
my problem is with Gase. He got all these weapons on the outside at receiver,
Yep.
and I don't know if he want to prove that, Ryan Tannehill is the guy. Listen, and that scares me because I don't feel like he need to prove that Ryan Tannehill is the guy. I don't feel like Ryan Tannehill need to be going out there slinging the ball just so Adam Gase can look good, or just so just so the Miami Dolphins could persuade the fans that Ryan Tannehill is the guy. Because I think that's going to set us up for failure.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I really feel like since Ryan Tannehill hasn't played in such a long time, that it might lead to the Dolphins coaching staff having to make a really tough choice about playing him a lot in the preseason because there's like certain aspects of the game he needs to regain, like the touch of his passes, things like that. There's just in-game things that he really needs to rekindle in order to start the first game for us. So in terms of how much playing time we're going to give him in the preseason, how many reps we're going to give him in off-season training, it's really going to be important.
But do you really? But do you really want Ryan Tannehill playing with second and third stringers? That's trying to make the team. That these guys going out there to trying to prove a point
Yeah.
to the coaches. That's scary to me because we know if Ryan Tannehill goes down, our season is over. I don't know about. I don't really know about playing Ryan Tannehill much in the preseason.
I mean, to be honest, sorry for interrupting you. I mean, to be honest, we have a lot of like interesting roster battles. So I really don't know. There's really no starters who are set in stone. I mean, the linebacker situation is interesting. Our
Mm-hmm.
secondary situation is interesting. Our wide receivers aren't set in stone. I mean, because Devontae Parker's still suspect, so that's still not set in stone. We still have a lot of areas where, you know, there's still a lot of roster battles that need to be had. So we really don't know who's who.
Right.
So Ryan Tannehill getting chemistry with anybody, who knows? But I understand your perspective. It's an interesting perspective, but you
Yeah,
really
that's
don't
that's
know.
scary, bro.
Yeah,
In the preseason, I just need Ryan Tannehill to come in there, maybe one possession, and get his ass back out.
yeah. That's why it's so tough because it's like the man hasn't played in a season and a half. So it's like it's really tough, to want to give him playing time. But on the other half, you have to protect him from himself and
And see, that's my.
yeah,
I'm
and protect
sorry
the
to
greater
I'm
good.
sorry to cut you off, Stefan. See,
Yeah,
but that's my thing with drafting a quarterback because we would have drafted a quarterback. Hell, Ryan Tannehill could have went out there and in the first two games of the preseason, he could have played the first and second quarter. I wouldn't have cared because if something would have happened to him, we got a young quarterback. We got that security. We got something waiting. You know what I'm saying? So now
yeah,
it's like one possession and get him back out of there.
yeah. And like with Adam Gase, I mean, with Adam Gase, you hear all these things about him being such like a quarterback guru. I mean, you've seen glimpses of it with Ryan Tannehill, but I feel like if we brought in like a Baker Mayfield or a Josh Rosen, I do feel like they could have probably given us the same production that Ryan Tannehill would have given us, just based off the way Adam Gase likes to run his system. Like he likes to deploy a lot of screens, like a lot of running back, um a lot of passes to the running back out of the backfield and stuff like that. So it would have really made it easy on a rookie quarterback because of the way he runs his offense. It's so simplistic and the way he just finds the ways to get the hands and the ball in the hands of his playmakers. It's
Right.
like imagine if he had Josh Rosen as his quarterback. I mean, Josh Rosen's a pocket quarterback, and Eli. I mean, no disrespect to Peyton Manning at all. Not comparing the two, but with Peyton Manning, I mean, he had no Sean Marino as his running back, and they ran a lot of screen passes. So that's really when Peyton Manning first got to Denver when he went for I think 38 touchdowns and 7 interceptions if I'm not miscorrect or whatever. That was a great season for Peyton Manning. And Adam Gase played a huge part of that because Peyton Manning was declining. And that system that they ran with Peyton Manning was very successful. And Peyton Manning is a very immobile quarterback. So if he ran that system for Josh Rosen, I mean, I think Josh Rosen would be pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty nice system for him to have been in, but we didn't draft a quarterback, so this is a situation we left ourselves in. We really are. It's really hard to be optimistic when there's so many question marks. It's really hard to be optimistic. It's just like you gotta wait till the season starts to have any glimpse of optimism. And on top of that, we haven't even gotten to our schedule yet. Have you seen our schedule? Man, we're really in for it this season. We're really in for it.
We're playing Jacksonville towards the end and towards December.
Minnesota.
Minnesota Vikings, yeah.
And our division
Detroit
is getting better.
Lions, Green Bay
I,
Packers, Chicago Bears.
and our division, all us, you can argue. Well, I'm not going to say that, but the Jets and the Buffalo Bills, they got young quarterbacks. And who knows what their young quarterbacks are going to be, but who knows what Ryan Tannehill is going to be?
Yeah.
I
My question
mean,
is, what are the Bills doing? What do they expect Josh Allen to start day one? What are they doing? Like when they drafted,
Yep.
I'm like, what are you doing? Josh Allen is not ready to start for anybody right now.
But they got
Why
He
AJ
started day
McCarron.
one.
AJ McCarron?
Yeah, they got AJ
Really?
McCarron too.
They're not making the playoffs with him, but hey, hey, they
Well,
do what they want.
well, listen. I think other than New England, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills, they're pretty much. I don't think now we may be a little better than the Jets and the Bills, and I don't know how by how much, in my opinion. Because
I think
remember,
we're about the
the
same.
Buffalo Bills swept us last year. So we can say whatever we want about the Buffalo Bills, but they did sweep us.
True.
And the Jets, as bad as the Jets was, and it was absolutely terrible. People projected the Jets not to even win a single game, and they almost blew us out where we didn't even score a single point last year. I don't know if you guys remember that game.
Yeah.
So and some people say we had Jarvis Landry, Ndamukong, and too. We were more talented last year than I think that we are this year, and that that have yet to be seen. We don't know that for sure because we don't know, how this what the roster are going to do. But
Well, the keys for me is the season. For me, the season rests on the further development of Jakeem Grant. Can he finally get some touches on the outside? Because that game he did against New England, when he was locked down by fucking Butler, he scorched Butler almost on every single play. And if we literally had any quarterback that was fucking paying attention, he was open almost every fucking time. And we're sitting there, we're throwing these fucking 2-yard passes behind the line of scrimmage and fucking letting their speed close us down. And the guy's standing out there and he's running back to the huddle like, dude, I'm wide open.
Guys, pardon my memory, but what year is Jakeem Grant entering?
I think this is his
This is his third with Drake and Carew.
Okay.
He was the 6th-round pick that year.
Hopefully we don't keep playing games with Jakeem Grant, and if somehow the Kansas City Chiefs get their hands on him, because he's gonna
And
be
then
2.0 if they get their hands on him with the way they use their
and
wide
then
receivers.
the other keys to me is Wilson from Kansas City. He's going to be huge because he can play outside or inside in the slot. And he gets open quick with his feet in the first few yards, and he's always wide open.
Yeah.
When him and Mahomes finished that last game of the season against Denver, the dude caught like over 13 passes for a couple touchdowns, and that's the game that were able to, in their minds, move on from Alex Smith and go to Mahomes as a quarterback. And his big weapon in that game was Albert Wilson. And then
Guys, you
now
know what
he comes to Miami.
I'm fearing that there's a small chance that Albert Wilson could take Devontae Parker's spot. And one of those problems is we would be too small on the perimeter. So we sorely need Devontae Parker to get his act together, because if he doesn't get his act together, we're stuck. Gesicki, yeah.
Enter Gesicki. He's what Isaiah's been talking about, wanting to see Parker line up in the slot.
Yep.
Well, now we got 6'6" Gesicki lining up in the middle. You have to respect the speed of Wilson and Grant on the outside with Stills in the slot and then next to Gesicki. You gonna put the corners on Grant and Stills, and now you're gonna probably play a third corner on Wilson and a linebacker on Gesicki. Good luck with that, fam. Good luck with that.
You know, my thing with me and Devontae Parker got a weird relationship. It's like he has the most upside out of all our receivers, but he just does not. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I don't know and then he always injured. So we can't even depend on him 16 games. You understand? But out of all our receivers, I think he does have the most upside. But my problem with Jakeem Grant and what I'm afraid of, that Amendola is going to get the touches that Jakeem Grant was getting. And I think that'd be a big mistake.
I think the problem maybe was, guys, maybe one of the problems was we were just throwing the ball to Jarvis Landry too damn much. That may have been a problem. That could have been a problem because he had the
No,
most
we
yards
had a
in the league
pocket
last.
quarterback and a sieve offensive line.
What'd you say?
Our problem was we had a sieve offensive line and a fucking unmovable quarterback.
That is true also, but I feel like it was just like more. How do you It was basically like just cherry
Gase
picking.
was trying to throw to the sloth in the fucking Julius Thomas.
The Slav.
The fucking the game plan. If you look at the first Jets game, they game planned the first 7 passes to fucking Thomas.
Yep.
In which game?
By the time the first game against the Jets,
Wow.
they scheduled you know how you script, like the old Bill Walsh used to script 15 plays? Gase scripted the first 7 passes to fucking Thomas and fucking Parker. And fucking when that didn't fucking work, we were already 14-0 down. And if you remember, Maxwell gets hurt in that game, and they throw out fucking Ultron Werner. And the third play of that, fucking Rodney Anderson is fucking 69 yards unfucking touched for a touchdown.
I remember that.
That game was fucking like I had to actually fucking turn it off on the computer because Isaiah was live streaming. I had to turn it off and turn it back on. Like I was trying to see if I was in a dream, like pinch myself to see what the fuck was going on. That's what the problem was. And I think this year, like the key for me is going to be Grant, Wilson, Drake, Carew, and how fast Gesicki and Smythe and Ballage learn the fucking playbook. Because if they learn the playbook pretty quick, we're going to be dangerous. Because I don't know if you guys seen anything about what Carew's been doing, but have you seen what he's doing? The dude is trying to debut as the fucking stunt double for the Hulk on the fucking Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna say this: Carew can do whatever he wants to. He can move houses. He's barely going to get on the field, bro.
That dude, when he came in after getting drafted 2 years ago, was soft, dude. He was 220 pounds, and he looked like one of those newborn babies, all pudgy. Still had his baby fat around his neck. That dude was soft, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Miami Dolphins trade Carew.
I think it's
Who
Parker.
would
Dude.
want him? Who would want
I
him?
think
He
it's
didn't look
Parker.
on the field.
I wouldn't be
Most of the
surprised. A 6th, 5th round pick for him?
I don't think anybody would even be willing to do that. I think the only way you'd be able to get that is if our GM or whoever in our front office has a connection with somebody else, and they can trust our GM's word on the guy's character or his work ethic. That's the only way I could see us getting a 5th or 6th round pick for him. That's the only way I could see that.
Well, let me
Because
ask y'all.
he's done nothing on the field.
Let me ask you guys this: by us getting Mika Fitzpatrick, is there any way that we trade, or you guys see TJ McDonald being traded?
No. 3
Michael
safety
Thomas is
package, dime look.
Michael Thomas is gone, so we need safety depth. We need quality safety depth. I don't think
It's
we will do that.
Auden, the new defensive backs coach from Lions, ran a dime three safety package. You're gonna see Minka lined up in the cover 1 and cover 2 shells with Jones, and you're gonna see Kiko Alonso come off the field, and you're gonna see TJ McDonald slide down into that wheel linebacker spot, and he's gonna be lined up next to Raekwon McMillan if McMillan can stay healthy. And if not, where McMillan would be lining up, you'll see Kiko slide back into his natural, more position in the middle, kind of in that dime nickel look. But they're going to run a 3 safety look. You're not going to see Minka come off the field. You're not going to see TJ come off the field. And you're not going to see Jones come off the field. Because if they go to the base look, what's going to happen is Minka will line up in the slot with Bobby McCain. They're not going to get burnt deep in the middle like that Atlanta game where Jones was covering that fast kid.
Yep.
And it went straight up the
Gabriel.
middle for 45-yard touchdown. That shit's not happening no more. Howard's lining up on the outside. Tank's lining up on the outside. And we're no longer going to try to move around and try to cover guys. Minka is going to come in and he's going to block man up on the nickel guys with Bobby McCain. And McCain is no longer going to get locked onto Rob Gronkowski. That's going to be Minka's job. And fucking Bobby McCain can now shut down Chris Hogan in the slot.
But you know that the Patriots got Burris from the University of Miami.
Barrios, yeah, he's going to take Amendola's spot.
Didn't
Yeah,
they
but that
draft
dude
him
can't
at
catch.
6?
He can't catch?
He can't catch. Did you see him in the Senior Bowl? He dropped more passes than fucking Jakeem Grant dropped punts in his rookie year.
Well, when he has Tom Brady in his face shouting, he'll be shitting himself.
I mean, did you see how Amendola looked before he got to the Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's not act like Tom Brady doesn't make guys around him better.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but it won't happen year one.
Yeah.
It won't happen year one.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be funny as shit if that guy they drafted him in what, the 5th or 6th round?
6.
yeah,
I
sixth
think
round.
it was the 6th or 7th, yeah.
If that 5th or 6th round draft pick goes to the Patriots and they get more production out of him
Then we get out of Amendola.
I'm gonna fall on the fucking floor laugh. That shit is gonna be, oh man.
Fall on the floor, it'll happen, dude, because I don't see Amendola touching the field.
Oh man.
I don't, dude.
But you know
Look
one
at
thing about the
Carew.
Dolphins?
Did you see what Grant's doing in the offseason with his footwork? The dude is crazy. And Wilson, I've looked at his film. That dude can get open in a hiccup, dude. He has really good feet. He gets his foot, the first 2 steps go outside, and then he, in one hiccup slide, he's like, his jump cut, he's 7 yards to the other side. So those Dino routes that we loved running, where you take 3 steps to the left, 3 steps to the right, and then go back out to the outside to get the guy's hips turned. Fuck, dude, he's gonna go 1-2, 1-2, and it's over, dude. He's gone.
Guys, how many catches do you think Danny Amendola is going to get this season?
You know, I'm gonna say this. I'm not a big Amendola
12.
fan.
12.
Well, the number that popped in my head was 5.
He'll get 12 against his own team, Patriots.
But you know something?
Rub it in Bill Belichick's face. He did call him an asshole.
The Dolphins always use slot receivers in a good way. You remember when we had Welker? We used Welker very good. Even when we had Devon Best, we used Devon Best very good.
Yeah.
The Dolphins kind of use slot receivers well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he could.
Well, our slot receivers now are Stills and fucking Wilson and Carew.
That can be insane. I would love to.
That's gonna be insane.
Man, the speed.
And they're gonna use them in the bunch formation. They'll put way they always do it. Stills closest to the line of scrimmage. Forward at the line is gonna be Gesicki to shield the 6'6" body, and on the opposite end of him, cross from Stills, is gonna be Albert Wilson. And now they're gonna take 4 steps up with Gesicki fucking running a pick. And now who's gonna pick up after they get the ball, Wilson or Stills? Man, that shit's gonna be gone, dude.
The havoc that we could really cause in the middle of the field with the speed and the size that we have, I mean, I could see it now. I can really see it now.
Grant can get open against the press, and Wilson can get open against the press.
Yep.
And you're lining up fucking Stills in the slot next to Gesicki. God damn, dude.
And all it takes is for our offensive line to get itself together. If our offensive line can get itself together, all the things that we're talking about, all the potential of the things that we're talking about can really come together.
In pass pro, we were the 11th best team in pass production, pass blocking efficiency. Sorry if I could spit it out.
Yeah.
Like when Isaiah looked it up, me and him were looking it up, and he did that thing on Facebook. He he did his thing saying you guys keep using the biggest excuse for Ryan Tannehill is no pass protection. We're getting better protection than the Seattle Seahawks are giving Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson's still lighting it up. We're giving more pass time to throw the ball than Tom Brady, and you guys are bitching that our offensive line is trash.
You almost feel sorry for the offensive line.
Granted, they couldn't run block to fucking save your life, but they could pass block. They let you throw the ball.
I wonder, losing Mike Pouncey, if that is actually going to take our pass blocking back.
I think it is. Because
I
if
mean,
you look when Kilgore had Jimmy G as his quarterback, he went almost to a Pro Bowl level on the PFF grades. When they had that rookie, that what's his name, the Beathard kid, and then our old favorite Hoyer,
Yeah.
man, dude, the whole offensive line was trash because the quarterback is trash. The quarterback really does impact your offensive line. Their pre-snap calls for protections. If the quarterback misidentifies the fucking Mike linebacker that's going to blitz and the guy comes free, just look at what Jay Cutler was doing at the line of scrimmage. There was free rushers almost every fucking time. Why? Because he misidentified the fucking the Mike linebacker, and Gase blamed fucking Ajayi for running to the wrong side and shit.
guys, do you think that from a talent perspective, or on paper perspective, that we've improved talent wise on the offensive line? Or do you think that we've like worsened in what do you think is more important, the for our team at the moment, the chemistry or the talent on the offensive line?
I'm gonna leave that to Isaiah.
Well,
I
repeat
want, I want to hear what he has to say.
I
repeat.
said, based on how younger players are, based on our situation, what do you think is more important? The amount of talent we have on our offensive line, or just the chemistry that we have on our offensive line?
I think it's a little bit of both. You have to have I mean, you can have great chemistry, but if you guys suck, then it's not going to matter. I mean, if you got to have the talent and the chemistry go together. I mean, you have to have talented guys who play well together and play off of each other's strengths. I think that's one of the things that is going to help Larry Tunsil this season. He's got a veteran that's going to be playing right next to him, and hopefully those guys are able to. He's got a good veteran. Excuse me. He's got a very good veteran that's going to play right next to him, and hopefully he can feed off of him and grow and be that tackle that we need him to be. Because
So,
what
Josh Sitton's gonna play on the left or the right?
I thought he was going to
He's
play.
left guard, bro.
Yep, he's going to
So
play
who's gonna
right.
play on the right? Who's gonna play on the right? Asiata?
Davis.
Davis, because we
Davis.
brought back Juwan James.
Okay. I mean, Asiata's got to compete sometime. Like, he's going to have to show us that he has something. We just can't just invest in draft picks for nothing. He has to show us something.
Exactly.
To answer your question more with like what you asked and what Isaiah was saying, look what happened when Gase stopped rotating Steen and Davis at left guard,
Yep.
and we stopped rotating offensive linemen on purpose, and we had hot trash Sam Young at right tackle and Jesse Davis at right guard. After a week or two of that formation, even though Sam Young is garbage, the offensive line efficiency on the right side was 89%. That's just under elite level. Just because of the chemistry that Davis and Young had. That's why Gase brought back Sam Young, even though the dude is hot garbage. Because the chemistry, once they got used to it, and with Sitton, even though I like the signing, but don't, because he's going to be 33 years
I mean,
during the season, he's going to help Tunsil at left tackle.
See,
yeah,
Because
and it's
when
only a
he had
2-year deal.
Albert, when he had Brandon Albert to help him, he really come along. But
yep,
what screwed him up was his playing guard
yep,
and not playing tackle.
yep. I'm hoping that the sitting signing is also able to help Asiata as well. I hope it
I
brings
believe so.
yeah, I hope it brings Asiata along, and Asiata is ready to step into that spot if something was to happen with Sitton or when Sitton is ready to move on or whatever the case is going to be. Man, this has been a very long podcast.
We should keep going.
Oh man, and we still have an audience too. So
I just think this was a draft that like we needed to have the rookie season of Gase when we let Olivier Vernon go to the Giants, and then our big hope was Mario Williams and Jason Jones, a defensive end. And if I remember correctly, I think we only had one decent guy in that draft to pan out. Talking about it 2-3 years later now, if we could get drafts like this and last year, because look at what we were able to do. We were able to cut Dominican Sue because we hit on a 5th round and a 6th round defensive tackle. And we were able to sign an undrafted free agent class that was fucking better than some of our draft picks. We got Torrey McTyer. We got fucking Maurice Smith, Chase Allen, Eric Smith at tackle almost supplanted fucking. If he hadn't have got hurt when Juwan James went down, he was going to be the right tackle.
yep.
Guys, a couple, something that we're forgetting about this is the discipline side of our football team. We were top two in the NFL last season in penalties, and I mean that is something that's really killed us in certain games. I feel like if it weren't for those penalties, we would have probably been able to win maybe 2 to 3 extra games last season if it wasn't for our lack of discipline as a football team. That was a severe problem. And I mean, it's not like Adam Gase is going to be able to, change the way this football team thinks overnight. I mean, the football team is a reflection of the head coach. But at the end of the day, I mean, Adam Gase has stressed in the media he he's been, trying to get his football team to develop better habits in terms of studying and being cleaner football players on the field, but they're just not doing it. So I don't know what that could be a product of. Maybe we just don't have the right character guys on our football team, or I don't know what it is. Maybe
I think
we,
that can improve because our number one guy that had the most penalties was 13 with Larry Tunsil.
yeah. Well, maybe, yeah. Well, maybe. So okay.
And then
So what
Godchow had
positional
like
group?
9.
What positional
Huh?
group? Do you know what positional group had the most penalties?
Offensive line. You
Offensive
had
line.
thir- you had 13 with Tunsil. You had 8 with Pouncey.
Mhm.
You had 6 with Steen, 6 with Davis, and then on the other side, you only had 4 penalties for Sue, 2 penalties for Wake, and like Godchild led the defense with 9 penalties.
Mhm. Well, how do you think that could be improved? Is it a defensive? Is it a positional coach problem, or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
how
just
he used his hands. That's why they brought in that Kosaric guy from Detroit. A lot of our issues was is we had garbage assistant coaches. That's why Gase
yeah,
switched up. He got rid of the DB
yeah,
coach and brought in Auden. He got rid of the defensive line coach and got this Kosarick. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his damn name right. But then we went back to Washburn, an offensive line coach, because the other guy was snorting white powder off his strippers in the fucking
Was he even good as a coach?
Forrester, he was at the 49ers, but we don't know when he started going to the cocaine and strippers, though. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
our offensive line just kept getting to going lower and lower and lower.
I
And
mean,
the rookie year, Gase's rookie year, we did have Washburn as our assistant offensive line coach to Forrester, but he took an offensive line coach position in Chicago. He took their unit from 20th to rank 8th.
yeah.
So he's now our offensive line coach now.
Looking at the offensive line, we do got some potential on the offensive line. I mean, Jawan James only played half the games, and in the games he did play, he was pretty good. He was an above average right tackle for us.
Right.
And then we bring in Josh. I mean, in terms of our offensive line, the amount of penalties we had should decrease. And if we're going to go based off of what Ronald's saying, that Sam Young and Jesse Davis were still able to be decently successful, even though they weren't all that talented just based off of chemistry, imagine what even more talented players can bring if they can stay healthy. I mean, so hopefully Laramie Tunsil will adjust and he can hopefully chop down those penalties from 13 to maybe around a reasonable 5 or 6. So I don't think that's a lot to ask for. So hopefully we can really chop down those penalties and really just focus on the chemistry and talent that we have, because it really just diminishes what we have going on when the players that we need to rely on the most are making the most mistakes.
Well, what happens with the penalties is they happen when you're less talented than the guy across from you, especially
Mm-hmm.
on the offensive line. So
Yeah.
when you get beat, you have to reach. When you reach, that's called holding.
Yeah.
And so just by talent alone, by bringing in Sitton at left guard, he's all pro. He's 3-time Pro Bowl left guard. And he owns 3 high PFF grades since PFF started as offensive line blocker. So when I look at that and how long he's been in the league, look at the offensive lines that he came in and helped mentor. He came in to Green Bay, taught TJ Lang how to be a good offensive lineman. And their center, who went and signed a big time contract with the Cleveland Browns, and then Lang went to the Lions and got a massive contract, and then he signed in chump change in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He will mentor Tunsil, and if we remember, Tunsil was the most athletic tackle that they've seen in a long time come down for the combine. So he has great feet, and he did good with Albert teaching him, Brandon Albert. And then he went from Brandon Albert to lining up next to Anthony Steen, Ted Larson. I mean, come on, dude. I mean,
Maybe he took a conscious.
I think just the removal of Pouncey, even though I love Pouncey, with Kilgore, who doesn't get penalties, and then having Sitton at left guard, I think that'll settle down Tunsil and the combo blocks. He'll be more confident that his right side is protected better, so he'll stop the edge guys going around him, because he knows that if he does need help, that Sitton can come over and lay a pimp hand on some of these dudes. So I think the penalties will come down. And now it's the defensive side penalties that's got to come down, because Howard had 8 and Godchow had 9. That's a lot on the defense. That's giving teams free first downs. And Godchow's was the holding on the run plays and going off sides trying to anticipate the snap count.
Guys, doesn't it still show you literally how bad our offense was last season? I mean, just thinking about it,
It was quarterback, dude.
it
It
was
was quarterback.
shocking. I
We
know,
had
but
running game, we had wide receivers, but we had trash offensive line and trash quarterback.
I mean, it was just I can't even fathom how bad we actually were. We didn't have the worst talent in the league. It was wow. It was really
I want to see the development of Jake Brindle at center and the development of like Eric Smith at right tackle or tackle and see how much improved Jesse Davis becomes because that's some young talent. We stole Brindle from the fucking Cowboys practice squad. And that Atlanta game when he came in, all of a sudden we could fucking run the ball with Jay Ajayi right up the middle.
yeah.
Pouncey got the
What do we
concussion
with
and then
Gavin Escobar?
Brindle come in. Huh?
What about Gavin Escobar? I mean, Escobar. He was a former second round pick, but like he never really got an opportunity with the Cowboys. So,
I don't know.
do
He
you
was
think he's definitely a
talented
talent?
coming out. He was talented coming out, but he ain't done squat in the pros. I don't know.
Hmm. I feel like
But if he
the
doesn't get his head on straight, he's gonna lose out to Gesicki and Durham Smythe. They're smart, tough nosed players, and he ain't
and he
ready.
probably will
And I don't
because
think
but
Marquise Gray wants to give up his position.
yes, exactly. I mean, Marquise Gray is entering his third year here. I mean, if you've been a third string tight end for the past 2 years, entering week one of the NFL season, and the team's been keeping you, I mean, that means to me that you're a professional in the locker room and you have a pretty strong work ethic. If you've been a third string, if you've been able to maintain your position for these last couple of years, and he's still on the roster, I don't really see anybody taking away Marquise Gray's spot unless he gets hurt. That's the only way I see that happening, and I don't think he will. I think
He should
Marquise
have
Gray
had
is
an
going to stay.
opportunity when the sloth was out there and was showing that he was the sloth.
Yeah. Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
But it is interesting how they blew all the quarterback stuff out. Got the fans all jacked up thinking we were going to get a replacement to compete with Ryan Tannehill, and that fucking Twitter lit up after the draft was over and zero quarterbacks were drafted. Man. But it worked out for us. We got Arizona to trade up to get Rosen, who was the last outlier of the top guys. And then that made both Derwin James and Mika Fitzpatrick sitting there, and we got to pick the one we wanted out of it. I actually think we should have went with Derwin James, but I can't argue. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, I can't split hairs over Minka Fitzpatrick and Derwin James. The dudes are both. They measured the same speed measurables. Derwin was a little more explosive with the broad jump and his jumping ability because he could jump higher. But when you look at film study, he was literally an extension of Nick Saban. Minka Fitzpatrick was for the defense.
Yeah. They say about Alabama prospects that they worked them so hard at Alabama that when they finally reach the NFL, that they're finished products. So I don't know how true that would be with Minka Fitzpatrick, but
LSU's secondary is the same way. Look at Tre'Davious White.
yeah, he's already
Dude was shutting
being able
down
to
Gronkowski, dude, for the Bills.
yeah. I mean that's the great thing though, but they say they cap out early. I mean they have a lot of great Alabama players in this league, so
That's why I'm upset that we didn't grab Levi Wallace from Alabama as a corner at 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's the only He didn't. He was the only walk-on at Alabama to become a 3-year starter.
Really?
But everybody's worried because he's tall and he's only 190 pounds. He's like this thin frame. They're worried that he's going to get broke. But when he played on the field, he shut down dudes. Him and Averett. Averett was in the slot. Levi Wallace was on the outside perimeter. And Tony Jones was also out. Neither one of those guys got drafted. And they were that perimeter corners for the Alabama defense.
Hmm.
But I don't see him getting signed yet. But
That's
Levi
the
Wallace, man, he's one of my sleepers all through this process. 6 foot, long arms, shut down corner, very smart. I mean, sure he's got the smaller frame that you'd like, but look at Bobby McCain. He's out there thumping Rob Gronkowski, and he's only 5'10".
yes. That's what I love about Bobby McCain. I mean, it's interesting if we're even gonna pay him when he's going into free agency. That's gonna be interesting
I'm
to see.
surprised we haven't paid him now, dude. Get him
Yeah,
while he's cheap. Give him a
yeah.
$3 million per year extension and make it 4 more years. Get him locked down right now at cheap.
I don't think he'll take that. I mean, he's only
He'd
entering his
sign
fourth
that in a
year.
heartbeat, dude.
I mean, you're right. I mean, why wouldn't you take guaranteed money? But I feel like if he's ascending at this point. His first 2 years, he was a bit of a suspect player, but in his third year, he was actually good. And if he believes that he's an ascending prospect, and his agent believes that, he'll be like,
Yep.
I'm a pretty
But
good
you're looking
player.
at corner. It's a very expensive position. And the
Yeah,
team, by not locking him up now, is going to be in a worse position than the Landry contract, where the player asks for 10 million, and then the following year when they blow up even further, now they want 16 fucking million. Now what are you gonna do?
you're right. So we're really
Who's
gonna
gonna
find what we
like
have.
look at it now? Who's gonna take Bobby McCain's spot now when he was literally our highest rated fucking corner of all the corners on the field? Bobby McCain was.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand why we wouldn't really want to make that investment now due to the fact that we're so strapped for cap room already going forward. So I could kind of see
June 1st, we
what
get 17 million
in available cuts to make or in cap room.
available cap room because of the
Really?
Sioux designation of June 1st.
All right, so we could probably make something happen.
We have 3 million now. We'll get 17 million at June 1st because of Sioux cut.
Okay.
What happens if Kiko Alonso can't beat out Jerome Baker,
I'm
Raekwon
hoping he doesn't.
McMillan, and
Let's ship him out here
Stephon
for a 6
Anthony
pick
and Chase
for a
Allen?
pick.
Because right now the coaches are saying how Stephon Anthony and Chase Allen are looking like beasts.
Yeah, I already thought about this scenario in my head. I was already thinking, I mean, Kiko Alonso's getting paid a lot, but I'm thinking these young linebackers are gonna, knock him out of the rotation. And you know what I was thinking about the way Kiko Alonso played last season. Did you guys hear about how during I think what do you call it? At the beginning of the season, after Kiko Alonso signed his new contract, he posted a picture of himself on Twitter of him posting a picture of himself tackling LaShawn McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy got pissed off. He was cursing him out on Twitter, talking about, "Oh, take my, take that picture off your Instagram. You're a bum. You're not good. You're garbage. All this kinds of stuff about Kiko Alonso." And me as a Dolphins fan, I was defending Kiko Alonso. I'm like, he's not garbage. He's not trash. Kiko Alonso's good. LaShawn McCoy's just mad that Kiko Alonso made a good play. But coming into this season, I'm like, wow. I mean, I hate to say LaShawn McCoy is right, but man, it's not looking good.
All right, guys. I'm about to close this out for the day and get me some damn rest, man. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Well,
I'll
yeah.
post to your Facebook timeline, Isaiah, the free agents that we locked down, the undrafted rookies,
Oh, cool.
later on when I look it up.
All right, man. We will talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in to this draft recap special of Dolphin fan voices, man. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. If you are a Dolphin fan, please go ahead and share this podcast on your page. There's I can't wait for this season. There's a lot of questions, and I hope that our team has all of the right answers. And so I'll talk to you guys next time. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.